Hey guys, thanks for coming back to my channel. It's Kevin here. I've got another spring candle haul, and this time around we're gonna go with HomeWorx. It's been a few years since I've hauled spring candles from HomeWorx. Of course, you guys know that I do a lot of fall candles with HomeWorx, but as far as spring goes, there's not been many hauls for the past 3 or 4 years, I would say. There's some candles here. I've got 7 candles here. Some I've already experienced. Some I have not. These aren't brand new releases or anything. These are just candles that I kind of took an idea of what I like and then just placed a haul on the HomeWorx shop website. All of these candles can be found on shop. That's where I purchased all of these. So this was a haul that's a couple of weeks old, I would say, by now. I'm just now getting around to talking about them. I think I might place another spring haul with HomeWorx. When I was kind of finishing out my time on Instagram a few years ago, really HomeWorx was the only candle company that I paid attention to for the spring months, at least. It's one of those candle companies that I can kind of rely on as far as knowing what I'm going to end up liking if I'm placing an order blindly. And HomeWorx has always been good to me as far as that goes. There's always going to be the exception to the rule, but I'm pretty good with finding out what I like just by reading the notes online, especially with HomeWorx. I can't say that with every candle company though. It's just really not the case with any other candle company. But I've got 7 candles here that I'm going to talk about for spring. If you love spring candles, it's hard to stay away from HomeWorx. It's just one of those candle companies that really kind of pulls you in. I know there are people that have had issues with the wicks. I'm one of those people too, but it's never really affected throw for me over the past few years. But I do hear that complaint quite a bit from the outside looking in. I'm not a huge HomeWorx buyer anymore. You know, I'm not like a lot of the people that purchase HomeWorx candles religiously anymore, especially for spring. So that's one thing I did want to kind of focus on this year, was just trying to get down to the bottom of that and seeing if I have the same issues with throw as a lot of people do. So I am going to kind of focus on HomeWorx this spring. I really want to kind of see what's going on with HomeWorx. There's one candle in particular that I have in this haul that I do really want to compare that to. We'll start off this haul with that one, and it's this one right here, Limoncello Cupcake, a candle that goes back to their initial spring year release of candles. And I did want to kind of compare that too, because you can see here's the candle that I'm gonna compare that to. Just kind of look at the wax color on this, see the canary yellow wax color on the old Limoncello Cupcake, and see what it looks like nowadays. So it's a much paler color. The fragrance in and of itself is much paler too. I mean, yeah, it's really just taken a hit, I feel like. Let's kind of go back and forth. Geez, this is so much stronger. The 2017, 2018 release of Limoncello Cupcake. But hey, I'm still seeing great reviews on the HomeWorx shop website for this candle. So I do want to compare this one. Limoncello Cupcake at one time was the ultimate lemon bakery fragrance. We're going to talk about that in depth this spring a little bit. And then another lemon bakery fragrance that I have for spring is this one right here, Lemon Poppy Muffin. Now, a lot of you might remember that this was a 2019 fall release from HomeWorx, and it totally did not fit for the fall months. I even mentioned that when I first hauled it back then. It was a candle that I purchased in a fall of 2019, its original release period, but I didn't burn it until the spring of 2020. Notes on it are poppy seed, lemon zest, baked vanilla, and sparkling ginger. Yeah, you really get all of that. The sparkling ginger really does come through here. It's basically a very similar to like a lemon peppercorn fragrance. If you've ever smelled any kind of lemon peppercorn, maybe in vendor wax or something like that. This is not far off from that style of fragrance. little bit of that zesty ginger, very noticeable in it. It's very sparkly. To go along with the lemon, it's a very tart lemon and kind of like a bread bakery note here to this. A muffin, I mean, somewhat similar to a muffin, yeah. But yeah, if you're familiar with lemon peppercorn fragrances in Vendor Wax, especially lemon poppy muffin, that's going to be something that is probably going to feel familiar to you. Really, the only disappointing candle, we'll go to it next, is this one right here. And it sounded so intriguing, the scent notes, what little I've heard people talk about it here on YouTube. It's Garden Bouquet. This one's disappointing only for the fact that it's been done before, guys. And I'm really disappointed that nobody's mentioned that. Notes on this one is night blooming jasmine, white gardenia, pink rose, and honeysuckle. And yeah, guys, this has been done so many times now. I wish somebody would have just mentioned that to me. I probably wouldn't have purchased it. It's a fragrance that I actually really like, but I've experienced it many times before. And of course, I'm talking about things like tuberose petals, South Seas gardenia, very familiar, very similar to South Seas gardenia. To a lesser extent, Tiare Sunrise, another fragrance that HomeWorx, in this vein of fragrance that HomeWorx has done many times before. It's a big, booming white floral, a soapy, clean, almost shampoo-y clean white floral fragrance. Yeah, it's just so familiar. And if it's not a direct repackage of any of those, I feel like it's really close to Tuberose Petals and South Seas Gardenia. While not maybe being a direct repackage of those, we're talking 95, maybe at the very least 90% similar to those two fragrances. And it's that gardenia, it's that gardenia kind of jasmine mixture. I'm surprised that there's not listed tuberose in this candle, because that really does come through. I don't really get much of the rose or the honeysuckle. It is not a sweet fragrance. It's not a sweet white floral at all. It's just one of those big, kind of clean, shampoo-y, kind of soapy white florals that we've seen many times before from HomeWorx. But so that's one reason why I'm disappointed in it, or that's the main reason why I'm disappointed in it. We've just experienced many things like that before. Hopefully I can kind of save somebody some money here if you've already experienced that one and you're not wanting to purchase it again, or if you know that you've bought it before and you didn't like it before. Just kind of keep in mind, very similar to those fragrances that I did mention. But we are going to go from that to a fragrance that has come out before, and I was actually really excited to pick this one up again. It is this one right here, Honeysuckle Mimosa. And this one came out for the last time in 2021, the spring of 2021. It came out in a 3-pack with that velvet peony fragrance and then that raspberry flower fragrance that they did. Honeysuckle Mimosa was one that I gushed about back then on Instagram. Notes of yellow honeysuckle, golden mimosa, neroli, and honey almond blossom. I love this one. This is probably my go-to recommendation as far as honeysuckle fragrances from HomeWorx. Now, they did a wild honeysuckle back in 2018. I felt like that was more fruity than actual honeysuckle. And the fruity note with that one was pineapple. And it was a very kind of green, leafy pineapple. It really wasn't an authentic honeysuckle at all, but it was more fruity and probably more enjoyable for people who really don't like the floral sweet honeysuckles. But the honeysuckle here and the honey almond blossom really play a nice role together, because you do really get that kind of powdery almond here in this fragrance, but you also really get that sweet honeyed honeysuckle as well. I mean, just fabulous. If you like a good honeysuckle fragrance, Honeysuckle Mimosa is the way to go. A really nice kind of sweet mixture of a white floral and a yellow floral too. And from that one, we're gonna go to this one. First time for me to experience this one. It is Kitchen Herbs. I've heard a lot of really good things about Kitchen Herbs over the years. Wild mint leaves, fresh thyme, sage leaf, and bay laurel. Now, yeah, the wild mint, yes, a lot of that fresh cut wild mint here. Kind of a grassy wild mint, but also very herbal too. I feel like I'm picking up basil and parsley in this candle as well. It's such an interesting mixture. I'm not necessarily somebody that's really itching to smell herbs in their candle, in their home fragrance, but I love a good fresh mint, and that's really what I pick up the most here. Really looking forward to getting into that one. And then we're gonna finish off this haul with a couple of blueberry fragrances. And if you like blueberry and home fragrance, you absolutely have to give HomeWorx a try. We're talking blueberry cheesecake, one that I've never had before. But as far as the reviews on the HomeWorx shop website, this probably has some of the absolute best reviews. We've got wild Maine blueberry, cheesecake accord, blackberry jam, and brown sugar crust. Now, for me, it's cheesecake. So immediately it nails that. But what really stands out for me here that I'm surprised stands out so much is the brown sugar. It almost gives it like a fall feel to the fragrance, like a fall blueberry, like something that's definitely making it lean more fall than just a regular blueberry fragrance or a blueberry bakery. That's one reason why I've never really gravitated towards the blueberry pie candle from Bath & Body Works, even though I know it's beloved in the candle community. It's just never been a candle for me. One reason it comes out during the summer months from Bath & Body Works. During the summer, I'm just not wanting to smell blueberry. You know, this time of year right now, that's when I would really like to smell my blueberry candles. And a blueberry cheesecake, sure, yeah, it kind of has a little bit of a fall feel to it as well. Let's see what happens when I burn that one. And then we're gonna finish off this haul with this one right here. Blueberry Violet Tart. To my knowledge, this is new this year for spring. And this one is definitely more in the vein of blueberry pie from Bath & Body Works. So something that if I am gonna have an interest in, it's gonna be right now. I would say late winter home fragrance season, early spring. Blueberry Violet Tart. Notes on this one are fresh blueberries, violet petals, baked pastry, and vanilla bean. So the pastry is very noticeable, and it's very syrupy sweet here. Yeah, it's noticeably different than the blueberry cheesecake. There's a lot of cheesecake here, comparatively speaking, and we're getting a lot more of an actual kind of syrupy sweet crust note with blueberry violet tart. I'd probably be willing to burn those together and see how they do together. But yeah, the blueberry violet tart, that is one of the huge winners of this haul. Of course, I've already experienced the Honeysuckle Mimosa, but that's a huge winner. Limoncello Cupcake is tried and true, but let's see how this one throws and how it compares to old versions of Limoncello Cupcake. This one right here, Kitchen Herbs, a really, really underrated fresh mint fragrance that is an actual new to me fragrance here amongst a couple of other fragrances that I've already smelled before. Of course, we've got Garden Bouquet. A little bit disappointed in that one as far as my first impressions. Been there, done that. Lemon Poppy Muffin, yeah, that's a good one. That's one that I've had before. But these blueberry fragrances, for as far as home fragrance goes, this is the time of year that I want to experience a blueberry and blueberry bakery. That's a couple of really good blueberries that we've got going here from HomeWorx. I'll give an update on those. So there you guys have it. That's my latest spring haul. I'll probably have one more of these from HomeWorx. I appreciate you guys watching. Talk to you soon. See ya.